welcome to Let's Talk Jonesboro. With us today is Tim McCall. He's the event chairman of the Downtown Jonesboro BBQ Festival. Welcome, Tim. Thanks for being on the show today.
All right, thanks, Fritz.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Downtown Jonesboro BBQ Festival. This is the 6th annual one. Is that correct?
It is. Okay. And
well, tell us a little bit about the history of the festival.
Well, it started, I guess, 7 years ago, as a part of the sesquicentennial celebration for the city and the county, and I had the opportunity to chair that, and we all considered it a success, and Mayor as well, and we talked about trying to do something a little bit different the next year, and I believe Harold, even the mayor, asked, well, why don't y'all do a barbecue, just at least keep something going, because it was such a big event down there, and we had Night Ranger as the band in 2009. And so that kind of spawned it. I also have the opportunity to serve on the Advertising and Promotion Commission, and they were a big funding mechanism for being able to help with the sesquicentennial. And following that, the commission, after looking and seeing what other cities are doing, from Little Rock to Riverfest to Heber Springs, and Conway has, I believe, Toadsuck Days, and basically they're like, we don't have anything like that here in Jonesboro, and why don't you continue this and keep this going, and it will be an Advertising and Promotion Commission specific event.
A festival, yeah.
It's their festival, and certainly we were excited about that, and so that's how it kind of got started, if you will, and of course we have a lot of sponsors that help us as well, but the impetus, or a major amount of money for the event comes from the Advertising and Promotion Commission, which, as you know, is not city tax dollars per se.
The A&P Commission gets its money from a tax on hotel stays.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Yeah. And that money, our commission gives funding to events and organizations in the community that hopefully bring people to Jonesboro and spend their tourism dollars. And
this event brings a lot of people to Jonesboro, doesn't it?
It does. We've been very fortunate and had a good crowd every year. We've seen anywhere from, I'm just going to say, 10 to 20,000 people. That's kind of a large band, but depending on the weather and the musical acts each year. The BBQ Fest has been very well received in the community, and we are now Kansas City BBQ sanctioned.
Now you got that sanctioning in 2011?
Yes, it came in 2011, and it's been proclaimed by the Governor Beebe at the time as a state barbecue championship. So we have anywhere from 60 to 80 contestants every year, and we like to keep it in that range. We're not looking to be a Memphis in May or anything like that.
Right. Now, the Kansas City Barbecue Society, KCBS, right? Why is it a big deal for our barbecue festival to be sanctioned by that organization?
Well, it's the largest barbecue organization in the world, and they bring a whole lot of credibility, and they bring judges, a lot of judges. We still have local judges, and we've done some classes. I say our organization has done some classes for people who wanted to learn how to be a taste tester, if you will. But it's work. It's not a 20-minute event. You're there a good portion of the day.
You got to really, really like barbecue to be a barbecue judge.
You do, and I have to tell you, after the event, I don't eat a lot of barbecue for a while.
For a little while.
Yeah, it's Chinese food or something like that.
Well, just a second ago, you said something about that this festival being the state championship. Is this festival still considered to be the state championship?
Yes.
And through the Kansas City Barbecue Society it is? So if the person who wins this contest this year, where will they go?
They can go to the American Royal or the Jack Daniel's World Championships. Our winners actually have gone to that. And the neat thing about our event is we have people show up with $200,000 grills. And we've got people that show up with something they picked up at Big Lots or Walmart or wherever, something local. And I believe
so it's not just for the big guys.
No, not at all. And 3 of the last 4 years, actually, we've had local people win. And we have $10,000 in prizes that we give away. And
$10,000, plus you get a slot in the World Championship.
Yes, in the American Royal.
That's a lot. That's a great prize package. What qualifies someone to enter?
Application.
Okay.
Basically, it's pretty easy. You don't have to be certified or anything like that. We have an application on the city's website and on our Downtown Jonesboro BBQ Fest Facebook page, and it's basically $250 to enter, and you can enter ribs, pork, chicken, or beef, or enter each of those separately if you wanted to. You don't have to do the whole $250. You can enter the ribs for $75 or the pork shoulder for $75.
Okay.
And it's a lot of people do that. A lot of people don't want to cook, a whole lot. They just want to go out and have a good time and cook some ribs. And
over the last few years, how has the mix been between the big competitors and the local folks who are coming in to feel like they're competing with them, but they're really having a good time?
The majority of our contestants are local. When I say local, I'm talking about Mid-South.
Oh, okay.
We have people from, Washington State, and we've had people from close to Vermont. We've had people along the East Coast, and a couple from Texas, but a lot of Georgia, a lot of Tennessee, a lot of Missouri, and a lot of Alabama and Mississippi.
Pulling people
contestants
from all over the country, and a lot of people from out of state are coming in to visit Jonesboro
and staying in hotels. So.
And that's one of the reasons why the A&P Commission supports festivals like this.
Absolutely. I mean, it is, and I've said this numerous times. It's kind of it's economic development in my eyes. I mean, we're bringing people to Jonesboro. They're spending money at the come and go stations. They're spending money at Walmart and Target and Kmart and eating at our restaurants and probably barbecue, I'm sure. So
I'm sure. How many contestants are we expecting this year?
It varies. We hopefully will see anywhere from 60 to 75. There are other events going on, not only the fair is going to be that weekend, and a couple other things going on. So, we may have a little bit less than we have had in the past, but that's not a bad thing. The barbecue festival, Kansas City Barbecue Society has basically told us y'all have the perfect size event because it's very easily to manage. It's well run, and they've complimented us and on how our barbecue side is run, and then it gives people an opportunity to win. I mean, you're not competing with 500 other people. You've got 59 other people or 65 other people, and it's you can talk to some of the local people that have won. I mean, it's
well, tell us a little bit real quickly, just how does a barbecue contest work? I mean, I've been to barbecue festivals before where it was a great feast and such, but I don't know that I've ever attended an actual sanctioned contest. How does that work?
Well, we'll start Friday, I guess. Our barbecue contestants come in usually Friday afternoon and start setting up, sometimes a little bit earlier, Friday morning. And we'll set them up in the city lot over off of Union, next door to Abilities Unlimited, who's always a big help to us with our event. And they'll set up, and then Friday night's always just kind of been the fun night. I mean, they cook, everybody gets to know each other, and people have friends that they see, other contestants from other states and other areas. So we'll have a band. We'll have a band Friday night downtown. And Friday night's free as well. The question everybody asks is, are they going to feed us, or can we buy food? They can't sell food on Friday night or Saturday night just because of laws, I guess, state laws. But sometimes if you're walking around and look hungry on a Friday afternoon, they'll give you a little sample of something. I know I get a lot of them, but so they'll work on getting everything set up and getting their grill ready. And then actually this year we have on Friday night our first Anything Goes competition.
And have a little mini contest?
It's a little mini contest for the people on Friday, and it's Redneck Lipstick Barbecue Sauce is sponsoring it, and it's called Anything Between the Buns. And so they can cook bologna, they can cook squirrel, whatever. I mean, as long as
it fits between
and it's
two
got,
pieces of
bread. It's got
bread.
the redneck lipstick barbecue on it.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting.
Actually want to judge on that. But so we're going to expect a pretty good crowd Friday night this year compared to last. But
You said there was going to be a band. Who's that going to be?
Arkansas Brothers are going to play, basically in front of the Jonesboro radio station in the Housing and Urban Development area.
Okay.
That little parking lot, we'll kind of have them set up. So it's just real laid back. It's fun. Saturday's the work day for us, but Friday night's kind of fun. Everybody enjoys going around visiting with everybody, and like I said, they share some food on occasion. So
Okay, so we're back to the contest. We've gone through Friday night. They've had their little mini competition with redneck lipstick and anything between the buns. And so Saturday morning we'll get up bright and early. And what happens Saturday? That's when the judging's going to happen.
mm-hmm.
Right?
Saturday, well, those guys are up all night. I mean, they're cooking. They start late in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's business. I mean, so Saturday, while you can go out into the competition and contest area where they're cooking, they don't really want to mess with anybody because they're busy
Okay.
trying to win.
So the public can be around there and
Yes.
get a lot of great smells and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
but let the contestants do what they're there to do, which
that's
is
what
to
they're there to do.
cook barbecue.
And then early in the afternoon, they'll start basically bringing in their plates, and it's very organized. I mean, every plate has a label on it with a number, and they take it in. And we've got judges that sit in under a tent all day long and drink water and eat crackers and eat barbecue. And
Is that where they're going to where the announcements of the winners will be as well?
that'll be at 4:00 on the stage, the main concert stage, NEA Baptist stage, which is basically located on Monroe in the parking lot.
And that is on
Off Main Street.
Main Street, Main and Monroe?
Mhm.
Okay. So, of course, they'll be the state champion. Are there other winners?
We are. We've got first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and the grand champion will get $3,000, and then we have what we call a reserve grand champion.
Okay.
It'll get $1,500, and then we'll have first place at $600, second $350, third, fourth, and fifth on down.
Okay.
And all 1 through 5 places get a trophy.
And what time is the winner going to be announced?
4 o'clock.
4
And
o'clock
it'll be
on Saturday.
on main stage. During the middle of, we'll have some bands that'll start right before, and once the awards are done, that's pretty much when the main music kicks off.
Now, the barbecue folks are going to be here on Friday. They're going to be cooking through the night, and it's going to be a long 36 hours for them. But for the public on Saturday, when do the festivities start?
People, it's funny. People come out that morning, I mean, and just walk around. I mean, and the vendors will be there closer to the noon hour. In the past, we've started very early, and for a lot of different reasons this year, as much as logistics, I mean, and the fact that you've got cars and vehicles Saturday morning real early on Main Street, which you hate to have to tow, which we will if
Okay.
they're there. I'll just say that. We're going to start a little bit later.
Now, I was
bring
going to
our
ask you
vendors
about
in.
that. Are there going to be street closings
Union Street will be closed
from
basically the bridge, and Kate, and
south to where?
all the way up to Washington.
Okay,
Yeah.
to Washington.
Kate to Washington.
And so what about Maine? Same thing?
Main Street will be closed from Washington to the bridge.
Okay.
So
What about church? Church stays open?
church stays open.
Okay.
Now, the through streets by the Forum and Monroe and that connect
cross streets?
cross streets that connect to Main Street will be closed and barricaded as well.
Okay, so basically that it's not a square, but if you go from Kate to Washington and from Union over to Maine,
Yes, sir.
that will all be closed. Well, that's good to know, and we'll have more information about that
Right.
on our city's website and our Facebook page, especially as we get closer.
You always do a great job helping get that information out there.
So about noon, you're going to have other things going on besides the barbecue contest. Talk to us a little bit about that.
We'll have quite a few vendors, and there will be lots of food this year. That's one thing we people say, you don't have enough food, you don't have enough. So this year we're really working hard to try to get some different food vendors.
Oh, well, let me tell you, with all that barbecue cooking down there, you're going to have a lot of hungry
and
folks.
The restaurants downtown are open as well. I mean, so a lot of people, and they'll tell you that's their biggest weekend of the year is the BBQ Fest, which is great. And there's been a few down there in the past to run out of stuff. So.
Do you get many complaints from people about not being able to sample the actual contestants, what they're cooking?
I wouldn't call it complaints, but I mean, there's people are a little bit confused on how it really works in some cases, and and honestly, when we first started doing it, I was in that same boat. I thought you could go get some sample or buy it from the grill, but you got safety reasons and
Sure, and the health department gets involved as well.
They're very involved. Trust me.
That's well, and that's good because we do need to have those safety issues and those things taken care of. So that makes sense. But it's good that people really understand that yes, these folks are down there cooking barbecue, but they're cooking it for the competition, and they're not cooking it for us to go down there and eat. But there are all going to be a lot of other options for us to do that.
And downtown has changed just even the last 12, 15 months. We've got the little vendors now in the parking lot next to Rural Sourcing down there, and you've got your main restaurants that are still open, and so there'll be plenty of food, I think, this year for people. I'm sure there'll be snow cones and
other things to do as well.
In fact, I had a guy call me last night that was wanting to do some deep fried Oreos and Twinkies.
Oh my goodness!
Like, bring it on. So throw in some candy apples and we'll be good to go. So.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a really great family-friendly event.
It is, and that's what
downtown. More
than anything, aside from the fact that it's free, there's no cost for the music, which we'll talk about in a minute, and everything else going on. I mean, this is a free event for the city, and not too many cities have the opportunity to bring the talent that we've been able to get and not charge people to come downtown for a concert.
Well, let's talk about talent for just a minute. You said there's going to be a band on Friday night to entertain the contestants and whoever has come along to kind of hang out with them and watch what they're doing Friday night. And that will be what time?
Well, we'll start at 3 o'clock on, Friday night. Arkansas Brothers start around 7.
7, okay.
7-ish hour.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, the music starts at 3. And we have it's a band called Country Fair, and actually Senator Rick Crawford is the lead singer. So he's
that should be
really
treat
excited
to see,
apparently
to see him
he is. I've never heard him, but I heard a couple of people have and told me that they're really good. So.
Now, one stage for everybody?
Yes, sir.
And that stage is going to be at
in the city parking lot off of Main Street.
Main and Monroe, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Who else is on the schedule?
We've got from 3 to 4 Country Fair. At 4 o'clock, we're going to do our barbecue awards, and then at 4:30, there's a lady named Melanie Marini, and she's kind of a country pop, if you will. Somebody compared her to a Colby Calais type music. She's from Nashville, and she's coming. So she's very excited about coming to Jonesboro. And then at 6:30, we have the Funk Donors and Flatland Funk Donors.
Mix it up a little bit.
It is a little rhythm, kind of rhythm R&B and some.
Okay. That's going to give you a good transition into the main act.
It'll take you right into the Commodores at 8:30. So we're really excited to have them. They've, Grammy Award winners, 7 #1 hits, and one of Motown's biggest selling acts in history. So very excited. We've worked on them for a while now to try to get them to town, and it's funny. Everything kind of has to play out almost perfect to be able to get the type of band or the band that you're wanting to come. Whether it's their tour schedule or their health or their and cost and money, and everybody's like, well, what did it cost to get them here? Well, the cost to get them here is not nearly as much as the stage and security and
all the production costs.
Oh my goodness, it's but it's worked out, and there was a lot of accommodations made on their end to help us.
So they're scheduled to go on at 8:30, and they'll play to probably about what, 9:30 or 10?
They'll play probably an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay. And we plan after that the festival will wrap up and
it does,
and
and people get out of there pretty quick.
Okay.
And there's a few of us picking trash up. So,
yeah.
and then Sunday morning as well. So yeah, so if
But-
you can take your trash with you, that's great, or put it in the city barrels.
Find a good trash can and put it in the trash can. There is a lot of, you mentioned just a moment ago, there is a lot of cost associated with a festival of this type. And I know that you couldn't do it without a lot of volunteer
Oh, my
help
goodness.
and a lot of groups that get involved with that. And you also couldn't do it without the help of the A&P Commission.
Absolutely.
But they don't foot the entire bill, do they?
No, they don't. You know, A&P has been so kind, and again, it's their event. I mean, we call
Well,
it the Downtown Jonesboro Barbecue and Music Festival, but it's the Advertising and Promotion Commission's
It's their signature.
Downtown Jonesboro Barbecue Music Festival. But we can't do everything with the money that they provide us, and they provide us a significant amount, but it still costs more. So we've got, NEA Baptist is a perfect example. They're sponsoring the stage. They're helping cover part of that cost, which is not cheap. St. Bernard's Medical Center as well is helping us.
Well,
We've
I
got,
would imagine not any of the, in all of the publicity and the posters that you'll have out, people will have a real good opportunity to see the sponsors that were involved. And of course, if they have any questions about that, they can certainly contact you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To get any other information about.
We'd love to have more people want to help us.
If they want to be a sponsor or
Yeah,
find out who all is involved, that's very
Absolutely.
easy to find out that information. That's great. And having an event like this brings the entire community together.
It does. It really does. We, you know, when we originally started trying to put something like this together, we said, okay, well, there's a couple of things we know we need to do. It needs to be free. You know, we're not making any money. In fact, there's been times we've been real close to not. And when we have made a little bit, I think a couple of years in the past when we've had $500 or $600, $700 extra over, we've donated it to local charities, city youth, or food bank, or I think last year was the food bank, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's a pretty streamlined event, and we've got it to the point where we know what we've got to do. We roughly know what our costs are going to be going into it. So, you know, I'm not saying we turn sponsors down, but we don't want to end up with $5,000 extra.
Well, it's good to know, though, that if you ever do, that there's definitely
an outlet,
a thing in place
right,
that says we're going to take whatever we get over and not hang on to it, but
right,
we're going to distribute it amongst the nonprofit organizations that are needy, and you know, everybody chips in to help put it on. So
and we've got an idea this year. If we were to have a little more, then. But there's stuff that always comes up, I'll tell you.
Imagine so.
There's a cost for everything these days.
Well, and in any kind of event of this size, you know, the unexpected is going to happen, and you always have to be ready for that. Tim, I really appreciate you being on the show with us today.
Appreciate you.
We're
Thank
really
you.
looking forward to a great downtown Jonesboro Barbecue and Music Festival for 2015, the 6th annual, and I'm sure we can expect it to go on for many, many years in the future. So
I have no doubt in my mind that this will continue to get better, and you know, we hope to keep it right where it's at. I mean, it's just kind of the downtown's a great place to be. I mean, not that other parts of Jonesboro aren't, but it just adds.
It's a great way for us to
celebrate
Jonesboro and downtown. Well, thanks again, Tim, for being on the show, and thank you for joining us. And don't forget, Downtown Jonesboro Barbecue Festival this year on September 26, 2015.